quick's on his feet. He looks up and gives me a grin and says, "Hey dude, you too must be from Marin." Marin County's A-OK, from Tam to Stinson all the way to M.A. Fresh organic veggies in the market every day. Lieutenants Dylan and NWA.
Welcome back to the Run TMC podcast. That's the Run the Marin County podcast, a podcast about basketball in Marin County. This is Dave Levine, and my friend and co-host Duffy Boward and I are thrilled to give you guys episode 3 of the week in our week of interviews, a gift to our listeners. But first, before we get to this awesome interview, a quick shout out to our sponsors, The Hub, North Bay Basketball Academy, Karen Horstmeyer, Jesse and Laurent, and Nike Camps at San Domenico. Before we get to the interview, here's a snippet from the Bambauer tournament at Marin Catholic that our Studley leader, Duffy Boward, recorded. Take it away, Duff.
I'm with friend of the podcast, Daryl Rory. We're up in the Nelson room. We're watching Urban and Vintage play. And just a quick take from Daryl, who's been officiating here and also watching. What's the craziest thing you've seen at the Bambauer?
There's been some close games, but unfortunately there's been a few blowouts. But I guess I could go to the game I did yesterday. Up and down, high-scoring game, and what an ending to yesterday. Mills was up 3 with 5 seconds to go at the free throw line to ice the game. The player missed both free throws. Lincoln races down court, shoots a 3, makes the 3, and got fouled, and went to the free throw line, made the free throw. Game over.
Game over. Wow.
So it was a lesson learned for the players, the coach, that how to, game manage, the end of a game. And I mean, we've seen that even with the Warriors about, do you foul a player, worst he can do.
Foul,
take foul. Worst he can do is go to the free throw line, make 2 free throws, you're still up 1. So that was about the most
and there's
exciting thing.
Still a day and a half to go, but that's
Yes.
one of many memorable moments from the Bambauer.
Yes,
here.
we got some good games coming up later today, so looking forward to that. After I leave work, I might come back by. But so that's it so far. So looking for a good finish here.
Yeah, we'll let you get back to your turkey sandwich. Thanks, Daryl.
Thank you.
All right, on to our next interview. This one was a great one. Kenny Woodard and Jordan Lewis, 2 phenomenal basketball players, phenomenal people. The 4 of us, Duffy, myself, Kenny, and Jordan, were sitting around my kitchen table, and this was a really fun one. Duff, anything to add?
No, they're both amazing basketball players, but also very thoughtful, have world experiences that not many people have, and they're bringing them back here locally. And I know, as I've mentioned in the interview, that my son Holden spent some time with the 24/8 program. Kenny in particular, he really gets the kids working extremely hard and is great at motivating them. I think he's just got sort of a cool factor with them, which is hard to replicate. And that goes a long way towards motivating 8th graders, 9th graders, 10th graders. I enjoyed this interview. I will also say, Dave, that at one point we asked Kenny what his best time in the 17. So the 17 is running the width of the court back and forth 17 times. We do that a lot in our practices. And when I brought back the 51 seconds to our team, there were some looks of awe, but then not particularly surprised because most of them have seen Kenny to play. And no one on our team is close to 51.
All right, so 2-on-2 game, Jordan and Kenny versus you and me. How quickly do they get to 11? To 11, it's going to be 11-0, Kenny and Jordan. But how quickly do they get to the 11?
I think we go 2 corners, Dave, and we run out the clock.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Just stall.
I think we score. I think we score. I'm not going to come on this podcast and say we're not going to score against them. I'm not going to guarantee victory, but I'm also not going to guarantee being shut out.
You might hit a shot. Kenny likes me. He might let me get a shot off. Anyway, this was really fun, and they're 2 inspirational guys, and they're so great with kids. It's fun to watch them work with kids, as they're 2 of the premier skills trainers around. So enjoy the interview.
Tell us when. All right. Jordan Lewis, Kenny Woodard. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Great to see you. So I'll do some intros on you guys to give our listeners some context. Kenny, you're sitting next to me. I'm going to go with you. Yeah. Terra Linda High, class of 2010.
2010. Yep.
Played for Farbstein. We're going to come back to this, Kenny, but Kenny dealt with some tragedy in high school as he lost his mom at a young age, and he was able to fight through that and keep playing. Showed amazing strength and character, and went on to have an amazing basketball career. After TL, you played at Skyline for a bit, right?
Yes.
And then Sac City.
Yes.
And then got a scholarship to play Division II at Westminster College in Utah. Huge accomplishment. And then, as we've talked about a lot in these podcasts, to play pro basketball was no small feat. Kenny went on to play many years in Mexico and Puerto Rico as a professional. He's a phenomenal player. He's played in the San Francisco Pro-Am League. Were you MVP of the league?
No. Should have been.
But you won the
Yeah,
title.
we won the title, yes.
And
They
you
gave
were-
it to somebody who didn't win the title.
And you just were giving everybody buckets. I saw you
Yes.
play there. Okay.
So unofficially, right?
Unofficially, we're going to say that you were MVP. You then, so after his pro days, maybe you'll still play pro, I don't know. But you came back to the Bay Area and you started training kids. And you're one of the best I've ever seen at skills training because you're really good at it, but then you also make it fun. And kids just love training with you. And I actually, as you know, coached a CYO team for years, my older daughter Lucy. And a couple years ago, I started sending my CYO girls to you. And you made it fun for them. And they wanted to go work on their game. So you've had a huge impact on many kids in this county. And with that said, you leveraged your success as a skills trainer and built 24/8, which is a very successful and growing club basketball program that you and Jordan are both a part of. We're going to give you guys a chance to talk about that in a little bit. So, Kenny, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Jordan Lewis.
Hey, how's it going?
Awesome. Jordan is fantastic player for Terra Linda, class of 07, so a little bit older than Kenny.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit taller than Kenny.
Yeah, a couple feet.
Fair.
Yeah.
A little bit better looking, just a little bit better than Kenny, basically.
It's an upgrade, right?
Across the board.
It's an upgrade.
Classic model, right?
Exactly. So Jordan was a class of 07, also played for Farbstein, was a really good player in the MCAL at a time when the MCAL was really good. We're going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. He then went to Cal Poly, where he played Division I. Our friend Dave Deneen, who we talked to before, was at Cal Poly when Cal Poly went Division I. By the time Jordan got there, they were a well-established program. He then went on to play pro ball in Israel for a decade, which is amazing. And now is back, and he's helping Kenny with 24/8. He's also played. You also played in the Pro-Am, right?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit,
yeah.
okay. So both of these guys play professional basketball, which is not an easy feat, and they're both just awesome teachers, coaches, communicators, skills trainers. And you both also, I want to talk about kind of leveraging fitness and into your training, right? Yeah. So it's not just about skills, it's about being in shape, overall body fitness. So really psyched to have both of you. So let's start with Terra Linda, because let's give TL some love. Coach Farbstein, been there forever, great guy. Jordan, let's start with you. How would you describe Coach Farbstein? What type of a coach was he?
I had a great time playing for Farbstein. He's a really special coach for me. I think one of the most interesting things about him is that he really allowed us as players to have open conversation with him. So it didn't really feel like he wasn't silencing us. He gave us a voice. He gave us the opportunity to be leaders ourselves and really have our own input into the system and our strategies that we're going into. Especially personally, I felt that way. I felt like he gave me a lot of responsibility and a lot of open opportunity to do that on my teams.
Yeah.
And
what position did you play in high school?
Point forward. I grew up playing. I was always like an undersized forward. I grew up playing power forward, center. I'd bring up the ball sometimes. Kind of start the offense, then go to the block and work from down there. And it's kind of been my whole career that way. Yeah. But he gave me the opportunity to expand my game a little bit, and I appreciated that. But we He was a tough coach. You know, we worked a lot on defense.
Yeah.
We were known for our defensive ability, and we would hold teams to very low scoring totals. A little bit different from Kenny's teams over here, where they just running up and down.
Kenny's
firing
like,
the ball.
defense? What? What's that?
But no, we had a lot of pride in that, and Farbstein was part of the reason why we were so good at defense. And I think we had a great team dynamic, and we got our players playing really good basketball and team basketball.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Kenny, what do you got? How would you describe Farbstein's style?
I loved it. For me personally, you know, every player, you know, adapts differently to different coaches. For me, with Farbstein, I felt more confident when I was on the court.
Yeah.
You know, he definitely gave me the freedom, you know, and to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. Even though I gave him a hard time majority of the time, but you know, it was good. You know, he was a great coach. You know, he was staying on top of me in regards to like, okay, is he gonna make grades? What's happening?
Right.
But you know, he pushed everybody to practice. You know, everybody came in, were locked in, knew what we had to do, and that's because of just kind of like his system and how he wanted things done.
Yeah.
And that's why he's, you know, had such a great, you know, success as a coach. Even though, you know, we should have won some titles, right? But no, I loved him.
Well, it's interesting, like, because TL, if you look at the size of the school, I don't know what the enrollment is at TL. I should know that, but you know, you got some big schools in Marin, like Redwood's, you know, north of 2,000 kids. Mm-hmm. You got schools like MC and Branson that are private, where they can draw kids from everywhere. I mean, Terra Linda is not a very big population center, right? It's kind of like the same as Novato, right? So to be good, it's hard for those schools to compete, right? So you guys had some really good years when you were playing, right? Yeah. So part of that is you guys are super talented, and you got to say part of that is Farbstein really was a great coach.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. So let's talk about the MCal in your era. Jordan, you're the elder statesman here. Let's talk to you. You're the old man. You had some good teams in the league, right? So who were your biggest competition?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like the MCal back then was a very strong league. I remember coming in as a freshman. I didn't play varsity my freshman year, but I got moved up in the playoffs, which is you know, a great opportunity, very exciting. But, you know, you had guys like Michael Turner and Khalil Bell on Marin Catholic, who I got to play against the next year when they were their seniors and I was a sophomore. I think Tam had a really good team my freshman year and junior year. Yeah. And then over the years, you know, you had the Bransons, who were just a powerhouse, and Drake with a lot of talent, and you know, even the Novatos of the world. I had two close friends that I grew up playing with that played over there, and they were some of the toughest teams that I've played against. You know, I think the league was in a pretty good spot back then, and you had a lot of high level talent that ended up going to play post high school somewhere, whether it was Division I, D2, D3, junior college, or whatever.
Totally.
That's guys with a lot of experience, because that was kind of around the time too. Going into our high school time was when AAU had become really big. Yeah. So you had a lot of players that have had kind of experience outside of the local pools of basketball. So that was kind of when the circuit was becoming really big. So you had people playing against top level national talent.
Were you? I was gonna come back to that, but why don't we talk about it now?
Yeah.
So, did you play AAU?
Yes,
in high school?
I started. So I grew up playing was YMCA, then CYO, and I think it was after fourth grade. In fifth grade, after that season, I started playing AAU basketball along with CYO with some of all the local guys from the CYO league here. So the guys from up in Novato or any other part of Marin. We had a team. No, that was before that. It was the Sharpshooters. So a lot of the guys at Marin Catholic, and I played with them from fifth grade until through high school.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it was a great experience.
Kenny, how was MCal in your era, young man?
Young man, I felt like it was pretty competitive. Right, when I look back at it, you know, there was across the board, you know, with all, you know, the players at each school, there was some really good talent.
Yeah.
Right? And like Jordan said, that, you know, went on to go play elsewhere, you know. Branson, of course, the powerhouse. Redwood was pretty good. I know Campagno had, a couple good years with a few of those teams. Reed Nottingham, he had, some players, Brian Crow, that went on to play Sonoma State and then went to play at Oregon, walked on at Oregon. Drake was always pretty good. I know we always saw them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was pretty competitive.
Were you, so I've seen you play a lot, and you're really, really, really good. In high school, were you really, really, really good?
I was really, really small when I look back at it, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like...
Did you lift?
No.
Because your strong upper body...
It was not, that wasn't there. That didn't exist then.
Okay.
I think, just my speed, the ability to shoot,
yeah,
and just kind of like, the awareness for the game just kind of came natural a little bit for me.
Yeah.
And allowed me to, adjust to the competition and who I was playing against.
So we interviewed our buddy Tom Poser.
Gotta love that guy.
Tom Poser. And Tom had I keep coming back to this because I love the way he put it. He said, all right, I played basketball for 40 years, roughly. And there may be 3 years in my life where I made this big leap in terms of skills and mindset. And he can remember those years. Like one was maybe in high school, one was maybe when he was, playing post in college, whatever. For you guys, can you think of a time, and I'm thinking still high school, like was there 1 year where you made a really big leap in terms of, I can do this?
I think it was after my sophomore season. So going into my junior season, I started working out with an athletic trainer over in Oakland, Anthony Eagleton. He's worked with most of the top level basketball players coming out of the Bay Area, and football players, other sports too, but everyone from Damian Lillard to all the guys from Cal and all over. And so I started lifting with him a couple days a week, and it made such a huge difference athletically for me. And that was a huge step up, realizing I can pretty much just impose myself on the court athletically and physically over most people. And then also working with Phil Handy, we were getting in the gym doing skill work, and it really helped expand my game beyond the positions I'd been playing up until then.
Yeah.
So giving me more comfort with the ball in my hand and allowing me to just, take the next step and start thinking about college and, allow my game to be more competitive.
We talked about Phil with Rick Winter, right? Because Rick had Phil in the MC gym 20 years ago, right when Phil was starting out. Yep. Now he's obviously working with the Lakers. He's everywhere, 94 feet a game. That's amazing that you got to work with him.
We were there at the beginning.
Yeah,
that was all us in Marin Catholic, Terra Linda, 294 when it first started.
That's great.
Yeah, it was special.
Kenny, how about you? Any years in high school where you made a big jump, you think?
Honestly, I don't think it really came until after high school.
Okay.
What I will say is that I think going into my junior year, my confidence level was a lot higher, as far as the ability to score, ability to defend, and just kind of maybe I can do something after high school as well.
Yeah.
Just kind of going off how I played my senior year. But I think that leap didn't really come until after high school when I realized that, I got to put a little size to me. I got to get in the weight room. So I think for me, it came after high school. Nice.
And that you see that a lot. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about recruiting. And so, Kenny, let's start with you. So you go the JC route, right? I'm gonna talk about your journey through JC and to Westminster, but if you're giving advice to kids now when they're thinking about, all right, I'm a senior in high school, I'm a good player, maybe I want to try and play in college, but what are some things that you would give advice to kids about for recruiting?
Really just be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself, be honest with your game, be realistic in regards to, where you're at, right? What do you do on a daily basis that, you feel like you should be there, right? I think that, the kids now need to just take a lot of things into consideration. is this going to benefit me if I go here?
Yeah.
You know, am I going to get the playing time? Like I always tell kids, look into like, okay, what type of system do they run?
Yeah.
Right? Is it going to benefit me? Is it going to fit the way I play? Right? Or do I go this route where it's not my first option, but you know, it gives me a better opportunity to, you know, it's like a stepping stool to, you know, somewhere else you might want to go.
Yeah.
Just kind of like taking into consideration like everything.
Yeah. Jordan, what do you got recruiting wise?
I mean, it was a big process back then. I remember filming so many games on video cameras and converting them to DVDs and hiring people to send them out to different coaches and stuff.
It was before Huddle.
Oh my God, yeah, it was crazy time. But I mean, it was stressful. I think when you think about playing in college. I think a lot of players really get stuck on this whole idea that it has to be Division I. It has to be this image that they get from whatever fantasy it is. I think there's a lot of different situations that would be great for different players. If your goal is to be a college player and beyond that, your goal is to be professional. Division I isn't the only way to do that. It's not. There's many very successful players that come from everything else other than Division I that are playing long careers and successful careers overseas or even in the G League or up into the NBA. But I think the most important thing is really finding a school that fits for you, whether it be academically, the team itself, or the location, kind of what you want to make out of your college experience. I'd say for a lot of people that are looking to go play after high school, go out to these college campuses, go see games, go visit places, and get out of, the bubble. Yeah. And don't just think of it as this idea. Go see what it's like to be a college student, because a lot of high schoolers don't really understand what it means to go to college, the commitment it takes to be a college athlete, and kind of what that lifestyle is.
Right.
So I think better understanding all of that kind of helps you, find what's right for you, the right situation. Because I have friends that played all levels and have had successful careers overseas with me on my teams and have made it further than I have, or other players that I know that were Division I players. I think all of it's fits. A lot of fit is very important, and that'll also can determine how much fun you have playing in college as well.
Right.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that, I think it also, now, how social media, like a lot of these kids are kind of, they see, oh, this guy has gotten these letters and these offers and, the highlights and the clips and whatnot. And it's like, man, it's like if they don't go or get these letters or they don't get these looks or these opportunities, they think that, the window it's like I said, like every player is different. You got to just kind of be realistic with yourself. So that doesn't mean if you go to a JC or you go to a Division II or Division III that you don't have a chance of going beyond playing college. So
I mean, style. Kenny, you made a good point about style and system. I mean, and you see that a lot, right? You see players who are really good high school players, and they go to a school, and that the coach or just the system at that school is not a good fit for them. Yeah. Right. So if you're a run and gun person, and you go to a team that's very slow it down, it's not going to fit you, right? And you're not going to flourish there, right? So
like Terra Linda, I couldn't go to Branson because I like to push the ball. They like to shot clock game, right? So
that's why
Jonas didn't let me shoot. All right, so let's talk about Kenny. You go the JC route. We've talked to a lot of people who have done that, and it's been really good. Dave Deneen did it. Tom Poser did it. I mean, countless people. Yeah. So how was that for you? And did you, like when you talked about after high school is when you saw some leaps in your skills and fitness and everything? Was it JC that helped you there?
It definitely helped me the JC route, and I'm glad it did. And I'm a huge believer in everything happens the way it does for a reason. Yeah. Right. And of course, I'm sure you'll dive into it later in regards to like kind of everything that led to it. But for me, academics weren't like my strong point, and I tell everybody all the time, like, I was that kid that if I asked you to use the bathroom, you're not going to see me for like 15, 20 minutes. I'm out walking around. But like it benefited me because now I was able to kind of, understand like, okay, like there are other players that are bigger than me, right? Coming from different areas, right? That are good, and so I needed to get in the weight room. I needed to get a little bigger. I'm not the tallest, right? And so I needed to kind of like work on things that I can control, right?
How tall are you, Kenny?
5'9", 5'10".
Jordan, is he really 5'9"? Is he like 5'6", going to 5'9"?
I'm on a great day.
With the hair. With the hair, he's 5'10".
I believe him.
Okay, all right, we'll go 5'9". Go ahead.
And so, but it helped me like academically as well. Like, and I was able to kind of like focus in on like, my schooling, my grades. And if I wanted to get a scholarship and, get out the JC system, I needed to lock in with the schoolwork. I needed to dominate at the JC level as well. And so that required me getting in the weight room, getting bigger, And
how were you as a JC player? Like, were you really good?
Yeah, I was solid. I think because I went from Skyline to Sac City.
Yeah.
And I just like each year I kind of improved and was getting better and better, like making that leap, right? So once I saw the improvement on my body in regards to being in the weight room, right? And then, because a lot of people, they don't like to lift because they're afraid it's going to mess up their shot, right? And I did think like that for a little while, but honestly, it's just consistency, right? Like I tell these kids, it's the consistent work that you put in. Yeah. So I was consistent with the weights and I was consistent getting shots up constantly, right?
So your body adjusted.
And it adjusted, and before you know it, you start seeing results and good things started coming from it.
You guys, Duffy has a comment.
Oh yeah, well I have a question. I'm going to pipe in. It is interesting. At what age would you recommend that transition occur? And then, did you notice that your shot form changed as you began to lift, as you were able to get maybe more loft, a higher release point? And how do you make that transition? Because you might, as you say, scuffle for a while, then ultimately you're going to be, you're going to have a stronger, deeper release.
For me, I just started seeing like the results, like. Getting it up higher, shooting from a little further back, right? And being able to, come off and get it off quicker, right? And still have that arc to it, right? And do that from maybe a further distance out. So, I mean, yeah, and it all comes from just being in the weight room and lifting, right? You got to be able to adjust to, and you start to see your body doing things you didn't think before. Your game starts to change that you didn't think was there, but it's because of like what you've been doing, what you've been working on, right? On top of like your agility work, the footwork, right? When you do ladder work for a year straight, right? Your footwork has become real crazy,
right?
So it's just your body adjusting, and before you know it, you're doing up and unders, some Tom Poser stuff, right? And it's like, why? It's because, well, you've been doing a lot of footwork, you've been working on it, your body's adjusting to it, and now it's showing in the games, right? So,
but I mean, I think I watch you on social media. I mean, you're in the weight room all the time, right? Like, I mean, you're working out.
I want to look like Jordan.
It's consistent. You want to look like me. Come on. It's consistency too, right? So like that's one thing that I find with kids is they'll go to a skill session with Kenny, and it's great, and you teach them some stuff, and they do it for 45 minutes, and they work hard or an hour, and then they don't touch a ball or
until the next one.
Until the next one. You can't do it once a week for 45 minutes. You got to do it every day.
You take what you do from the training sessions and you apply it to your, at home or by yourself.
Right. And we'll get into more skills training. But so, and I want to close the loop on your college. So how did you end up at Westminster? How did D2 find you?
So when I was at Sac City, I had a great year at Sac City my sophomore year. And, I was getting some D2 looks from different colleges, some NAI looks, of course. When I look at it, NAI Division I, NCAA D2, same thing, but at that time I was like, I want to play NCAA, right?
Yeah.
But whatever. At the end of the day, you're getting college paid for. You're getting an opportunity to get out there and play at a 4 years. It's just great,
Awesome.
But yeah, the colleges started rolling in. I looked into a few different ones, and I thought Westminster. I've never been to Utah. I've never seen snow before. So... And when I went on my visit, it's not a big school, right? It's pretty hard to get into, and the coach, the teammates, the whole just environment, Utah in general, was beautiful. Like I just loved it.
It's a good decision for you.
It was a great decision for me.
Awesome, Jordan, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo. How did you end up there?
Wow. So, I mean, coming out of high school, I was getting recruited by some schools, but I only had a couple schools that were talking about offering a scholarship, and they weren't places that I really were interested in going.
Okay.
So, like, my family's not from California. We moved here when I was 4 from New Jersey. My parents are from the East Coast and Midwest area. So, growing up here, they didn't really know about a lot of the colleges, you know, that are in the area. Like, you know, there's so many schools here in California. And so as part of the recruitment process and starting to look at schools, you know, I had contacted a lot of schools and had some coming in, talking with interest. Like UOP was very interested in me. But they were offering like invited walk-on situations. Okay. So UOP, University of Pacific out of Stockton, Cal Poly was one of them that offered a invited walk-on situation. And I talked to, I think, Riverside and Long Beach State for a period. And so those were all kind of on my radar. So one summer I did a little college tour where me and my family went down the coast and stopped at each of them and talked to the teams. I think Pepperdine was one of them at the time as well. And I had some connections at Cal Poly. One was through Farbstein's father, and then the other was through I was playing for the Nike NorCal Elite team over in East Oakland. And there was a couple players. Trey Clark was playing at Cal Poly, so had that connection, and also Chaz Thomas, another Bay Area guy from Sarah High School, was there at the time. So I went down, I got in contact with the coach, came down, played in the open gym, guarded Ramses Barton, who was the top NFL or football player there. He was a 6'7" receiver who ended up winning a Super Bowl with the Giants, which was crazy. But got a chance to meet everyone. And it was funny because actually when I went down there, the day I was down there, a couple days I was down there, it was foggy. Like, it was the worst weather you're ever going to get at Cal Poly. Usually it's like 75 degrees and sunny every day. And so I enjoyed the team and the coaches and stuff, and finished the whole trip down and back up. And I had a chance to kind of think about, you know, what it was I was looking for in a college and the basketball experience. And I felt like that was the best fit for me. You know, I talked to UOP for a long time, and the basketball there was good. You know, we ended up beating them most of the times when we played them in college, but but I just couldn't see myself living in Stockton at a small 3,000 student Protestant school. So
this is the second time, Duff, where someone has spoken ill of Stockton. I hope that we have listeners in Stockton.
Hey, I've got some great friends from Stockton.
No, I'm just kidding. But our friend KK was like, who ended up playing at Cal State San Marcos. She's like, yeah, UOP, but Stockton. I'm like, wait, KK.
Who was the big guy from UOP that was drafted?
Olowokandi.
Yeah, Olowokandi.
Michael Olowokandi.
Yeah. I mean,
frizzled out a little bit.
The Candyman. Yeah.
So I think it was just, I looked at what was my best fit. I had a really good relationship with some of the players and some of the coaches going in there, and it just seemed like the right fit for me. And I knew going in, after I had the experience playing against the team, my future teammates, that where I was physically and athletically and skill wise, I could, you know, I was strong. Once I started lifting, I got very strong and athletic, so I didn't feel like it was a hard situation for me to transition to physically and athletically. Yeah. Skill wise was probably the hardest transition, but I was always a very cerebral player and a physical player, so that was not a hard part for me, is understanding the concepts and the physicality of the game. It was all the other stuff that I had to work on, which was very clear cut for me. Yeah. A lot of times it can be very hard for players from high school to transition to the Division I level. Yep. The physicality hits you first, and if you're not ready for that, it can be a very hard transition. So they'll beat up on you real quick.
So what position were you in college?
In college, I played, again, I was like a small forward, but I spent time at the 4. I spent some time at the 5. I spent some time at the 3 and the 2.
And you're 6'5".
Yeah, about 6'5", yeah, with the shoes on. That's my basketball height.
Like Kenny's 5'10", you're 6'5".
No, going into college, I think it was 6'4", 205, and then by sophomore year is same height, 215, and then by the end of my career it was about 230.
Okay.
So it was pretty, 225 about playing weight ish.
it's interesting. Like, so you 10-year career playing in Israel, and we're going to get to that. But in college, like, you look at your stats. I mean, you scored like 3-4 a game.
Yeah.
But you did everything right on the floor. But I have, as we mentioned, Dave Deneen, our friend. He's like, Jordan Lewis should have played more.
Yeah.
Should have got more playing time. So how did you deal with that? How did you accept your role?
I mean, it was tough sometimes. I always was a team first player.
Yeah.
I was there to do play defense and make the right play. And
Great.
I was never a selfish player, even in high school. I think I only averaged at most 15 points a game.
Yeah.
But I still had 3 or 4 assists at the time when I wasn't a point guard. And so, that's what I wanted to be is someone that does all the right things on the court. And I knew as a walk-on, that was kind of how I had to find my way onto the court. The first 2 years, I didn't get a lot of playing time. We didn't have very good seasons, and we had a coaching change. Coach Calero came in, and that season, actually, I started, I think, 90% of the games that season, and I was the leading scorer for, I think, about at least half of the season.
Awesome.
We were playing, we were mixing in new players and old players from the old team. So, and it was actually, as far as how far we got into the playoffs, that was one of our most successful seasons. We beat Long Beach State, we beat UC Santa Barbara, 2 teams that have multiple NBA players on it, and high-level overseas guys and EuroLeague champions.
Was Gabe Vincent on that team?
No, he's younger.
Yeah, he was younger.
No, it was James Nunley and Orlando Johnson and Alan Williams. And
You guys are old, Kenny.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I mean, that year I had a chip on my shoulder. I had to prove myself as a walk-on to earn my place with the new coach coming in. And actually all the walk-ons, maybe except for one, maintained a spot on that team. And our coach gave us really the reins to build the new culture, which was really focused on a close-knit family with the team and changing the whole Cal Poly basketball culture into a winning culture.
Yeah.
And so going forward for the next 5 or 6 years, the guys that came in the time that we were there were really some of the most successful seasons that Cal Poly's had.
That's great.
In their history.
And you guys set the tone.
And we set the tone.
Beautiful. Love it.
Yeah, it was us, the walk-ons, who were there from the change and all summer trying to build it.
Yeah.
But
very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's get to pro ball. Kenny, talk about being a professional basketball player in Mexico. It was Mexico first, right?
Mexico first.
So what was that like, pulling a paycheck, playing basketball, living overseas?
It felt unreal, honestly, just because of my whole process, the journey, and everything I've gone through. Right, I've always had it in my head that I wanted to play pro ball.
Yeah.
But when you're young, like kids, everybody want to go to the league, the NBA, right? And as you get older and you start to, like I said, be honest with yourself, be realistic, and I'm like, okay, the NBA is not happening. But I definitely feel like my game's where it's at. I feel like I could have an opportunity to go play somewhere else, and. I got my opportunity after I graduated from Westminster. I have, friends, teammates that have gone played overseas, and connected me with an agent and sent him my film and sent him all my information. And he called me one day. He's like, hey, I got an opportunity for you down in Mexico in the Chihuahua League, which is a pretty good league. I had to fly in El Paso and take a bus down to Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, okay, this is where this journey starts. This new chapter starts. So, and I was ready for it, right? Like,
were you the only American on the team?
No, we had 2 other Americans.
Okay.
But I was prepared. Like, I prepared myself for this, my whole senior year at Westminster. And so I was ready. My confidence level was high. I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. Went down there, played some preseason games before I signed, and they loved my game. I signed. They brought me in, and I kind of was just like, dang, like I'm really about to get like a check for playing, right? Like, it's not like Steph Curry, LeBron James type checks, but hey, to be able to like,
Are they paying you in pesos or dollars?
In pesos, but you can
convert it
and all that fun stuff. But now I'm learning the whole business part of it all that comes with it. And Jordan, I've always talked to Jordan as well. It's like somebody that's there who's already playing at the time, and for advice, because he's always been like a big brother to me. And so in regards to like how the business goes, and I think it was maybe after 2 games in, they called me after practice and was like, hey, well, my agent told me, he's like, hey, they're gonna talk. The owners are gonna talk to you after practice, but it looks like they're gonna let you go, but another team's picking you back up for about the same that you're making, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of stung a little bit because I got close with the other 2 Americans, the community, the fans,
the business.
It's a business though. Now I'm learning, right? And I was that night. I was on a bus towards kind of close to El Paso, Juarez, and I was playing with the Indios, and I had practice the next day with a game the following day, right? And it was just like, okay, this is what it is, right? And so that was kind of like my first encounter and experience, but it was great though, and it was definitely eye-opening as far as like culture-wise and just how good these players are though out there.
So what advice would you give to a player who wants to, they're a good player, a good college player, maybe they're a D2 player, they're listening to this, and they're like, all right, the league's probably not going to happen, but I want to play pro ball somewhere.
Right.
What advice would you?
There's so many opportunities. There's so many clubs. There's so many teams out there in the world that there's something out there for everyone, right? You just have to be ready. You just have to put in the work, right? Yourself, right? And then in regards to playing, you just got to market yourself, right?
So is an agent important in that front? Or?
Yes, I would say so. It definitely helps, right? I myself, I was emailing club owners and teams before I was able to like link with an agent. Sending them my info, sending them my film. You coming from a D2 or a lower, if you're not coming from a Division 1 and it's a little harder, right? But I tell people that want to go play overseas, like, yo, like you got to market yourself. You got to get yourself out there, right? Like if you have to go and fly yourself out to Spain and stay for a little while, which one of our good friends Christian Manoli did, and he got an opportunity, right? And,
another Terra Linda guy, right?
Right, and right there at their doorstep, like I'm here, I'm ready, and it's like, okay, we'll take a look at them, right? And there you go, But most owners and managers, they're not gonna just fly you out and you're at this school nobody's kind of really heard of, right? You kind of got to market yourself and get yourself out there, got to be a voice. So.
Yeah, awesome. Jordan, talk about playing in Israel. You put 10 years in, right? I mean, that's amazing. And Israel's a beautiful part of the world, obviously challenging part of the world geopolitically right now in particular. But talk about playing pro ball for you.
Yeah, it's been really a privilege, an amazing opportunity for me to. I never thought growing up that I would live across the world, halfway across the world and experience, other cultures like that. It was never a thought growing up, but given that opportunity and I took advantage of it, and it was really something that really was life-changing and eye-opening and very special to me. I finished playing in college and I stuck around. I was a student assistant coach. I had a class I had to finish up, so I did like 5 years and a quarter. I redshirted my first year, played 4 years, and I had one more quarter to finish up the next fall. So I stuck around. I was helping out with the team, and then that whole year I was just kind of training, and I felt really good. I had some time off of my knees, and my body felt as good as it's ever felt. Yeah, I was strong, I was athletic, and healed up. And I was like, okay, I want to do this, and got in contact with because, like you said, my stats weren't great in college. I was a glue guy. I didn't have crazy numbers or anything, but I had to make this opportunity happen if I wanted it to happen. And so I started looking up FIBA certified agents. I thought about places that I would want to play. I knew that I could get my citizenship in Israel. So I took advantage of that. I took a trip out there to see if I liked it enough to move out there, and I did. So when I got back from that trip, I started looking at agents, got in contact with a few of them, ended up settling with one and telling them my situation, and got my paperwork finished up for my citizenship moving out there. And from the day it finished, he texted me the next day and said, hey, the team wants you out here on Saturday. A week later, so I had to pick up all my stuff, move home, and fly out. The first team I landed in, I was hardly getting paid money. The team was basically bankrupt. It was 3 of us living in one small apartment. I landed there with a teammate I had from high school, Justin Baker from Natomas High School. He ended up playing at Utah Valley State. We had played for Team 94 with Phil Handy growing up. And so we ended up on the same team, which was really special. And it was great to have him. He had played 1 year already. So he kind of helped school me to the game a little bit.
Yeah. So most leagues have restrictions on the number of imports they can have, right? So
correct.
What was the rule in Israel? How many non-Israelis?
So you have two leagues that are the main leagues. You have the Winter League, which is the first league, and you have the National League Leumit, which is the second league. The first league, and depending on the team, would have 4 to 5, and Maccabi Tel Aviv playing in EuroLeague would have maybe 8 or something that they would activate and deactivate. In the National League, you can only have 2 foreign players.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't count as a foreign player.
Yeah.
I'm a citizen, so I count as a local. So that was an advantage for me to get a foot in the door playing. But the team I went to, we were terrible, weren't getting paid. They stopped paying us after a couple months.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the reality of some clubs, is that it can be that way. And it was hard, but I persevered through that and ended up switching teams around my birthday in February to another team. And we made it to the championship that year, which kind of set me on a path for the rest of my career as the player I am over there and what I've done. So
go Duff.
Yeah.
Talk about the culture of basketball in Israel. Like, you see kids playing it a lot. Is it a popular sport? How would it compare to here in the States?
It is. It's popular. It's not as popular as soccer, but I'd say it's the next most popular sport there. You got kids from youth up playing. They really love it there. They highlight it, and it was because coming from college, it's a very different game going to play overseas professionally. I would compare it to more of an up and down, free flowing, like almost like a junior college style of play, where it's not as like strict. Especially at the time that I was in college playing Division I. Basketball is pretty strict. You're running a lot of the clock. You're doing long plays and all this stuff. Then you go overseas, it's a 24-second shot clock, and the ball is moving a lot more. And you're playing with people that are, pushing, 30, maybe mid 30s to 18-year-old kids. And I came over as a 23-year-old veteran compared to a lot of the younger guys I was playing with. Right. So it's a weird dynamic, but it took some time for me to get used to, because I was very much used to my system in college, which was a very restrictive offensive system. Yeah. Where we were getting one shot out of the shot clock, a 35-second shot clock. Yeah. Especially those last 2 seasons at Cal Poly. So it was an adjustment, but once I believed in myself, I really bet on myself and what my foundation was as a player and the things that I bring to a game that other people don't. And that's really what has built my career over the years. Yeah. And being a versatile defender, a versatile offensive player. And it was, it took time to learn how to play like a different style. But once you, I think one of the biggest things people don't realize is that you can develop your game beyond, for me, that was never an idea. Thinking about it growing up was you develop in high school, you develop in college, but there's really so much more to develop after post-college. And I think, people that continue to work on their games, you can take yourself to a lot of places with basketball post-college as you get into your late 20s and in your 30s.
Could not agree more.
Yeah. I like what Jordan said, though. Yeah. He said, what basically like doing something that others aren't doing something different.
What does the team need?
Huge, right? Exactly. You got to do what others aren't doing, what needs to be done, right? So
that's a great point. Duff, did you have something?
Just a follow-up question, actually, for both of you playing overseas. Did you have like kids coming to the games and wearing jerseys and signing autographs afterwards?
Oh man,
it's kind of like being a podcaster.
Oh my god!
I think that was like crazy for me. My first experience, like signing autographs and whatnot. Like it was just an unreal feeling. I'm like, because they look up to you, you know, and people don't understand. Like it's like playing overseas. It's like their NBA for them, you know. Like playing in Mexico, playing in Puerto Rico. It's like their NBA, you know. And so it's like they look up to you. They want to be where you're at. You know what I'm saying? So it was great. It was fun.
That's fun.
No, I'd say fandom overseas is completely different than anything you'll see here. Yeah, I mean, from autographs to the passion and like they get very passionate about ridiculous things. Yeah. You know, and it can get hostile quick.
So you said you won a title, Jordan? Or
you
guys went to a title game?
I went to my first 4 years in Israel. I went to 4 championships. I lost all 4 of those. But
it's your fault.
I know it was all my fault. Not enough 31, right? But I had some good showings in most of my championships. But we played some really good teams, and we went to 2 game 5s. Which is their 5-game series. So.
But is that like packed house? Fans are super into it. That's fun.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But I did get it was the COVID season. We got the promotion with Hapoel Haifa. We finished in first place when the season ended, so we did get that, move the team up. So that was a championship there. Cool. Which is it's not an easy accomplishment anywhere, and I think no matter how you do it, it's definitely an achievement.
Kenny, any titles or playoffs, whatever?
No titles. Couple playoff experiences playing in Mexico. Not in Puerto Rico. But kind of like Jordan, he had his citizenship. I was able to get mine from Puerto Rico, which was great because it just gets you in the door. Yeah. Right. My grandma from out there, so I was able to get that, which was great. And nothing in Puerto Rico is a really tough league, right? Like usually the imports, which you're only allowed 2, is like NBA kickbacks. All right, players that played in the league, no longer in the league. So I'm more of like kind of just a role guy out there, but it's a great league. Mexico, couple playoff experience. It was fun. The atmosphere, the environment, the fans, like it's different, you know. No titles.
That's all right.
It's fine.
So you both of you were you scorers in playing in pro ball, or it sounds like you both were kind of played your role. But
so for Mexico, I played as an import, right? And so when you play as an import, like you kind of have a much greener light than others, right? Like you have to come in and produce. If you don't, they're going to bring in somebody else that will. And I learned that my first game when I went with the new team. You know, I had 2 points for the first game with 2 points. The coach, we went out to eat. Coach said, "Listen, you know, I saw your film and everything. I know you're a good player, but we can't have another game like this. You know, I need you to score. You need to have at least 20+ points. Otherwise, I need to bring in somebody else that can." Okay. And so that set I was like, say less, shoot, you know. And so, nice. And then playing in Puerto Rico, like it's more of like, you know, just kind of know your role, give the balls to the imports, let them go to work.
Awesome.
Oh, it's cutthroat though for especially for the import players. You know, performance is huge. You know, if you have a bad game and you lose, even in the preseason, you could be cut the next day. I've been through multiple teammates within the first 2 weeks of arriving in September before the season starts.
Yeah, that's tough, man. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's very cool perspective on playing pro ball. So I want to get to skills training, and I want to get to 24/8. Yeah. So again, you two are 2 of the best around. So what's your philosophy in training kids? Like how do you approach that?
Like I said earlier, my approach is the consistency and it's the work. You know, I think it's a balance of everything. It's a balance of not just doing between the legs and dribbling stuff. I think it's conditioning. I think it's agility. It's the footwork. You know, it's everything. It's a balance of all of that. Being able to, you know, put resistant bands into it, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's just a balance of everything across the board.
How about we've talked about this, Kenny. How about playing pickup versus skills? What do you think is the right mix there?
It's needed, right? Jordan's been huge on like, man, these kids need to play, like 1-on-1, 3-on-3. I mean, that's how we grew up.
To be
playing.
fair, I told you that before Jordan did.
As he was losing to you right now.
Exactly.
It's huge. That's included. It's a balance, right?
Yeah.
Being able to play ones, pickup, right? Like, so the 1-on-ones, the game reps on top of the skill stuff. So you can put that into play.
Yeah. Jordan, how about your thoughts? What's your philosophy in training?
I'm very detail oriented. I like focus on the details, and all the drills are kind of functional and applicable to game situations for me. So that's what I like. That's kind of the way I was raised with Phil, and the way he did it. So obviously, I've had some great opportunity working out with him, and also my another friend of mine, Jordan Lawley, down in Orange County, and he's a product of Phil as well.
Okay.
So. And I have another friend, AJ, down in Long Beach, who I worked out with too. And a lot of those drills, the way we would do it is it's very easily applicable to game situations, and that's how I like to do it, because I want these kids to understand the situation, be able to read the situations and apply these moves in game or to practice, whatever it is. And if we're building towards getting to a college level, these are direct things that will affect that.
Yeah. And so Jordan, we're massive basketball nerds here. So can you, if you have something off the top of your head, can you talk about like what are one of your favorite drills that you like when you're talking about kind of functional, game applicable drills? Is there one that you like that you can share with us?
I think a lot of like the ones I do that I think are most applicable. Other than I always go through my ball handling stuff and like finishing drills with touch around the basket. I think drills that incorporate getting open, catching the ball on the wing. Or wherever, but let's just say on the wing, squaring up, using our pivots to create space, and then we add different counters to different situations there. So we'll have them catch, quick rip baseline.
Yep.
Simulate that. Next time would be catch, jab step, rip other way.
Go middle.
We'll keep on building and stacking off of that. We'll catch for a short pull up, right? And I'm not doing crazy reps. I want 2 to 3 good reps to get through this.
Okay.
And keep it moving so we can keep on building, right? And then we're working on counters off that. When we rip, we counter off that. Hit the glass. Next thing, counter into a Euro step or rip towards the middle, get to the middle, jump stop, pump fake, up and under, or whatever it may be. So we're simulating game situations, reading the defense, and practical implementation of these moves.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Kenny, what do you got? Give me a good drill.
I think that's great. And the cool thing about, the trainers we have is everybody brings something different to the table, which is great. Like Jordan's very detailed. For me, I'm a lot conditioning. I'll make a kid run a 17 and then jump and do some of the drills, right? Like, because they need to be, well, of course, conditioned, but it's like in a game, they're constantly up and down, right? So you got to be able to finish when you're tired. You got to make shots when you're tired. You got to still be able to make these combo moves and finish at the rim while you're tired, right? But a few drills that I like to do is kind of like game scenarios, right? Mm-hmm. So I might have a kid start at the wing, cut down to the box, and then jump up to the, and then go up to the elbow, catch, pump fake, rip through, attack the basket, right? Boom, pass it right back out to me, shoot out to the wing, cut down to the box, right to the elbow, catch, finish, rip through. And they're constantly going, make 10. Another one I like to do is I'll have 4 cones right in a row, and I'll have combo moves. So make a combo move, maybe a cross between cross, right? Pound between cross, pound, go finish at the rim, go through, run the outlet, I'll throw it down ahead, catch, finish, and then they're coming right back down again.
So it's full court.
Right, exactly.
I'm getting tired just listening to you.
But it's good. Make 10, right? But
sweating days.
But then, you start doing different things into it where it's like, okay, now you're coming into a jump shot, right?
Right.
Or, they go into a finish, pass it out, now they go in, catch, rip, pull up, right? And it's just, different scenarios, get them moving, you know what I mean? So
the modern game is so 3 heavy that you don't see kids shooting mid-range jumpers that much.
We're doing poser post work, right?
I love that, but it's like in our San Domenico girls practices, like I'm having us shoot mid-range jumpers every day, and sometimes I'm thinking like, why are we doing this? They never shoot them. But I think it's important for kids to have that in their bag. Right?
I think it's important for them to work on things that they're not good at. Like yes, you can do a Euro step. You don't need to keep working on that. Work on everything that you're uncomfortable with.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's awesome. Duff, you have some questions here about kind of like mix of conditioning versus skill work. Did you want to ask one of those?
Well, yeah, I think Kenny kind of addressed it already a little bit there. But yeah, how much, if you're doing 5 days of practice or training a week, what percentage of that is going to be sort of straight conditioning? What percentage is going to be skill, and what percentage is going to be both of them combined? So is it a third of each? So how would you break that up? In terms of just and I guess it depends on the player. But,
I was about to say that.
I mean, I think if I had 5 days of practice, I'd do, probably 30% of that conditioning, maybe around 30, maybe a little less, a little more depending. But if we're talking about like scheduling, especially like going up into a game, I would not do it the day before a game. We've done that before, and it's not been good for me or any other players. But I think it does depend on the player. And like I do conditioning when I'm training for myself. I do conditioning outside of basketball. So when I'm working on skill stuff, I'm working solely on the things I want to develop and get better at. And I go run or I go bike or do other types of conditioning. And if I finish, I have certain days where my conditioning is basketball. So I think it is a balance, and sometimes my conditioning is playing for a couple hours in the evening or during the day at some point, right? And that's my conditioning. So I think you can format it in a lot of different ways, and conditioning is important. I think a lot of it depends on the time of the year and where you're at in the season and all that stuff. But conditioning is a huge aspect to it. If you're tired out there and you can't do the things you need to do on the court, you can do all the skills training you want to do. It's not going to help you.
Right, because when it comes time for the games,
just wait. You guys just wait till you hit 40.
What are your times for 17? We make our kids do them all the time. We put time up on the clock. I'm just curious. Do you guys? What do you have a best time?
Mine?
Yeah,
51 seconds.
I haven't done a 17 since freshman year in high school.
I did it last year.
Maybe in college, but we were timed.
Yeah.
I made the time.
We put them in at 10 on the clock, and some of the guys don't quite make it.
That's good. Okay. I could talk to you guys for a long time, but we don't want this to drag on too long. So let's talk about 24/8. Kenny, talk about how you started that business. We're curious about the genesis of the name. You like it?
And the gear. I want to talk about the gear. The kids love the gear. The gear's dope. We'll take a picture. You guys are looking good in your trainer 24/8 shirts.
Yeah. 24/8 definitely started during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Everything was shut down, and I left Puerto Rico early, came home, and had nothing to do really. And I had some parents and kids we know of. It's like, hey, do you mind training my kid virtually on video? I was like, yeah, sure. Like, why not? Sure. And it was great. I have like multiple kids, on the video doing ball handling, right, and doing some drills, having to do some push-ups, right? It was great. And before you know it, kind of more kids started doing a little video, right? I was like, all right, cool, this is great. And then it kind of gravitated to going outside a little bit, when things kind of started opening up, right? But doing small groups, right? And I think from us doing skill work, like giving it to them and having them, apply it, right? Like it was different. Maybe something they're not used to. Yeah. Right? And so parents and the kids were like, oh man, like this is great. Like this is the type of work that they're doing. Like they're tired. They come home and go straight to sleep, right? Like, but this is what's needed. This is what they need. And it became like a little bit of a domino effect, because then before you know it, I'm getting messages from, hey, such and such, referred me over. I have, a 10-year-old or I have a 15-year-old. Like, yeah, bring them over. Miller Creek, outside courts. We're outside. We're working. Yep. And it was great. And then it wasn't until after one session, we had a ton of kids. A parent came up to me and said, hey, like, you got a nice turnout here. Like, you should think about, making this a business, like turning this to a real thing. Because, the kids love the, and that's another thing. It's the energy too. Like the energy we bring, and it's the vibe, right? Like they can adapt. Like you mentioned earlier, Dave, making it fun. Like, I don't want to make it fun. I just want them to, yes, I want them to enjoy it, but it's like the energy, like how, we come across. And so he said, maybe you should turn this into a business one of these days. Like, you guys got a knack for what you're doing, and the kids love it, and they're getting better. And so I kind of like, whatever. I mean, I got my degree in criminal justice, and I'm like, everything's shut down. Like, I don't know what's happening or what's going on or what I want to do. But then I was like, I was able to sit back and I was able to think for a second, like, well, when basketball is all said and done, like, what do I want to do? And I think for everybody, like, COVID kind of like allowed a lot of people to sit back and kind of think about, their lives and kind of what they want to do and what's next, right? Totally. And so, for me, I'm like, well, this isn't a bad idea. I get to stay around the game. I get to help the youth out and give them something that, I didn't really have, right, coming up. Like, and it's on a whole nother level, right? And so I'm like, man, but what would I call it? What would be the name, right? Like, I'm always big on, like, being different than others. Like, I'm always big on, like, doing something, like, other people aren't doing or something unique, right? And so I'm like, okay, like, I want these kids, I'm always preaching, like, put in extra work. You got to do it on your own, right? And I'm like, okay, well, 24/7. I'm like, 24/8, right? I was like, just an extra hour. It's the extra work that needs to be put in, right?
Yeah.
And then it hit me. I was like, when you think about those two numbers, who do you think about? Dave.
Kobe.
There you go. Exactly.
I never put that together.
I was thinking of the Beatles 8 days a week.
And so,
now I always feel really
and it's just that mentality, right? Like that dog mentality, that the work ethic. It's just, I'm like, dude, this is perfect. That's fits. Great. So
that's great. That's awesome. Well, you guys, you started with the skills training, and now you've got several teams that compete in club basketball, boys and girls. What are the ages, Kenny?
4th grade. I mean, honestly, skill stuff, it's from kindergarten, but the club teams, it's from 4th grade all the way through, high school.
That's great. And so you guys, well, I'm curious for your perspective on AAU club basketball overall, right? I mean, obviously it's huge right now. We've talked a lot about this with other folks on this podcast about it's sort of there's the good and the bad, right? The style of play, not always great. The scores, not always competitive. Mm-hmm. I've coached many games where I've lost by 60 or 70. It's probably all coaching. But what do you guys think? Kind of what's the good and the bad? Jordan, why don't we go to you, like on AAU club hoops?
I mean, I definitely by the end of my AAU career, I was a little burnt out on it.
Yeah,
it was a lot. A lot of travel, a lot of politics, a lot of the undesirable things with basketball. But on the other side, it's such a great opportunity to get out of the community.
Yeah.
Go play against different competition, experience new places and new, styles of basketball and all that, and and play. It's good competition, and I think a lot of it depends on the team dynamic, and you can get as much out of it as you put into it. I think situation is important, and I know some players play for multiple different teams, and honestly, each of those teams can be a different value to you.
Yeah.
Playing a different role on a different team can be very valuable. If you're a role player and position player on one team, and the other team maybe you get to be more of a creator and ball handler and playmaker, for players that do that. I think it's a valuable tool, but I think, there can be burnout, and it is important to find a balance as well. So you got to find out what works for you. I started in 5th grade, and I think that's kind of, since then, it's been about that for most, 4th or 5th grade is when a lot of players start doing these year-long cycles of basketball. Whether it's training or playing. So I think it's important to find a balance, and
that's great.
And find what works for you. But it can be very valuable and useful.
Yep. Kenny, what's your advice to players, parents, coaches when you deal with these lopsided losses in AAU basketball?
Or wins.
I think, it's eye-opening. I tell them, it's going to happen. It's all part of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to lose, you're going to win some games. You're going to get blown out. You're going to blow some teams out. right? But obviously it's not fun to some of these kids, right? If they're constantly getting blown out, it's discouraging, right? So, it needs to be a balance, right? And so for me, like, I want some of these kids to be in situations where it's like they're going to get better, it's going to benefit them, right? But it's not going to discourage them or make them want to walk away from the game, right? So it's making sure they're in good situations, right? Solid tournaments where they're have an opportunity to compete and not get blown out, right? Or not just do the blowing out, right? Like, so just kind of finding a balance to make sure it fits the kids and the families.
Got you. So before we wrap up, a couple things I wanted to hit on. Kenny, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about, what happened in high school for you, because obviously a tragedy, but also, you talk about things happen for a reason, right? Yeah. And you were able to overcome that, and build a great career and business and be a great father yourself. So why don't you just talk about it?
I'll make it short and sweet. When I was 17, my mom was shot. Wrong place, wrong time. She was sitting in her car. There was a fight that broke out, and somebody pulled out a gun and started shooting. And she happened to be like in the middle of the crossfire, basically in a car. Bullet went through the car and hit her. I was in Reno at a AAU tournament. It was the Memorial tournament up in Reno. It was around May 24th, 2009. And how the news got to me was somebody had said, "Hey, is your mom okay?" I was like, yeah. Nobody said nothing different. Okay, well, somebody said she got shot, and I was like, okay. So I made a few phone calls, and apparently, like rushing her to the hospital, so I was kind of like stuck, like, okay, wait, what's happening, right? Yeah. And so I finally got on the phone with the police, and they said, she passed on the way to the hospital. She didn't make it, and I think at that point, like, my whole body just kind of went numb, right? Like, we're talking, 17 years, with this lady, and, you hear of, like, okay, friends of people or whatever, but you never really kind of expect it to be, like, somebody so close to you, you know what I'm saying? The only person that, because she was, single mom, like, raised me by herself. My dad was in and out of prison, and so, it hit me, and I think, make a long story short, I kind of went down like a dark path, right? Got in a lot of trouble, and it just took some lessons, and, going to jail and, some wake-up calls to, like, really, like, figure out, like, okay, am I going to throw everything away she sacrificed? Because she made a lot of sacrifices, as far as, like, making sure I got to soccer, basketball. She was very invested in my sports and the community, and so I was like, okay, I want to take this and do something, make something out of everything that she did, right? And so, of course, nobody's perfect, I wasn't perfect, but it was tough, and so I, like I said, the whole route I had to go through the JC system. I had to really grind, right? Nothing comes easy, and that's why I tell these kids, like, appreciate, right, like, your folks, your parents, because everything happens for a reason. You never know, right? And so you don't want to take people for, take things for granted, like, really work for it, right? And I think it transitioned me, made me appreciate a lot more things that I worked for. It definitely made me, being a father, right, great, because I didn't have that father figure around, and I know that feeling, right? And so I, made a promise I could never just not be there for, my daughter, Amora. And plus, she reminds me so much of my mom. Looks like her, and she's like just like me, right? She's picky eater, right? She Jordan knows. And it's just, she's very independent, right? There could be things going on and she'll be off doing her own thing. She's just, she's great. And so I feel like that's almost like a gift from her. You know what I mean?
One of the reasons I wanted to have you on was I want to see, can I be her agent? Because she's going to be in the WNBA. I know that. So I don't know what the process is to sign up for that. But
oh man,
she's like, what? How old is she? 8?
7.
7. I mean, she's playing against like 4th and 5th graders.
Yeah.
and getting buckets. So she's going to be a really good player. Well, Kenny, thank you for sharing that. Duff.
I just wanted to ask Jordan, you guys grew up together, you've been friends for a long time, just maybe sort of what you saw during that time period. I'm sure the community came around to try and help Kenny. It's obviously a tragedy you can never recover from fully.
Yeah.
But what did you see there?
Well, first I just want to say how proud of him I am and what he's done with 24/8 building this community and this business and what he's put into it. I think it's really special and something that is a testament to him as a person, being able to give back to our community and really inspire these kids with basketball and in life and everything. We've known each other for a long time. I was telling you guys a story earlier a little bit. So I had a friend that lived across the street from Terra Linda, and Kenny and his buddy used to live across the street from him. And so me and my friend would be out front hooping in the driveway, and Kenny and his buddy would come across the street. And this is back when Kenny was about 2 feet tall. And
Still is.
I see that coming.
and he'd try to hoop with us, and you just put the ball in the air and he'd jump for it. But no, it was fun. So I've known him a long time, and then finally as we got a little bit older, and then realized that he would be in high school with us, and as soon as he stepped on high school campus, he was like a little brother to me, and we'd
take me out to lunch.
Take him out to lunch in the car.
The Northgate.
Yeah, good old Northgate food court. And I was away in college when that happened, and obviously with my college basketball player, I'm busy all the time, but it was something that really hit deep. I tried to reach out.
Sure, weighed on you from afar.
Yeah, and it's hard. You don't really at that age, at any age, it's really hard to deal with death, and and it's I think coming together and having some community is really the best way to do it. And I know my family reached out to him, and I think we were able to kind of help along the way.
Yeah, that's great.
But it was I think considering everything that happened, I think like I said, I'm really proud of him and how he's carried himself going forward, and what he's built since then.
Well said.
Yeah.
Likewise. We love you, Kenny, even though you're short. Okay, let's go to crunch time. This is it.
Keep it short, Dave.
We're gonna keep this short. So I'm never good at this.
What's crunch time?
All right, crunch time. Quick questions. Ready?
Yes, let's get him.
Jordan, toughest player you've ever played against?
Probably one of my teammates. I played with him for a couple seasons. Jason Seegers. He beat me in a Game 5 of the championship in Israel my third year.
Where did he play? Like, did he play in college somewhere?
He played in college at Albany.
Okay.
One of the greatest scorers I've ever played against. Mid-range assassin. His son actually just got drafted by the Utah Jazz. Number 16, Keontae George.
Oh, cool.
So excited to see where that goes. But yeah,
all right.
he's a killer.
Nice. Kenny, what you got?
I got there's a couple. Kevin Ware, played against him in Mexico.
Was he Louisville?
Louisville.
He had a really bad leg injury.
Yes,
right?
and I looked down at the other side warming up. I said, I'm looking at his leg. I talked to him. He's like, oh, it feels like nothing's ever happened. And he's quick, hard to guard.
Okay.
Explosive.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's a good one.
Kevin Ware for sure.
Okay. Should I take out the MCAL one, Duff?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
We're crunching.
We're crunching. Okay. Favorite gym in Marin, Kenny?
Favorite gym in Marin, Marin Catholic. Shoot.
Really?
Baby. Yes.
We've heard that about Marin Catholic.
So Owen from Archie Williams, Owen Bugas said
My boy.
his favorite gym because of those soft rims. Yeah. I was like, I never shoot well in that gym.
You don't shoot well in
that's true. I don't shoot well anywhere. Yeah. Taller than you are, though, Kenny. All right, Jordan.
I'm trying to think. It's been a long time since I played in Marin, so I got to say Terra Linda. We had a very classic style gym, and it was nice and dim in there. And
what do you think of the new one?
Oh, it's beautiful. I would choose a new gym if I could. I don't think that counts.
Yeah, exactly. That old gym's nice and all, but the new one's.
I like the light in there for shooting.
Yeah,
Some of my best shooting games
Yeah.
for rec league.
Yeah.
All right, how about favorite gym in the world? You both are worldly pro basketball players. Is there an arena you've been in that you're like, man, this is awesome?
Roberto Clemente, the Coliseum in Puerto Rico. It's where they host the Santurce team and the national team plays.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, it's a different type of feeling when you step in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I played in some pretty big gyms. Last year I played in, we did an NBA tour. We played up at the Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. We played against Portland at the Moda Center, and we played against the Thunder down in Oklahoma City. But I say the craziest atmosphere, the best was the Aztecs, San Diego State.
San Diego State.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Viejas. It's, they're just piled on top of you, and it's so loud. Everything was rocking, and we played against them in college when they were ranked, I think.
The Steve Fisher's teams.
Yeah. Kawhi was there, and I think we lost by like 5. It came down to it, and it was crazy. It was rocking.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I mentioned this a lot, but our San Domenico girls went to the state last year, and we played in Golden One, where the Kings play, and we just couldn't shoot in that gym. It's just different.
Yeah.
When you're used to shooting in a high school gym and you shoot in those arenas, that must have been an adjustment for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We just played up there. I played up there we did the FIBA 3-on-3 tournament. 3x3, maybe 4 weekends back a month ago.
Yeah.
Played in the Golden One Center. It's a beautiful new arena.
Beautiful. We shot 16 for 65. Who's counting? Okay. Dream team. You're playing pickup. You're going to the TL, the new gym. It's you and 4 others. Kenny, who you playing with?
I mean, we talking like,
Whatever.
buddies.
Answer it however you want. Yeah. How about people you know?
Oh, people we know. Yeah, come on. Because I could say...
I know.
Okay. I would honestly say my TL guys. I'm saying Jordan Lewis.
Heard him.
Great dude.
Okay.
Christian Manoli.
Yep.
As long as he
Shooter.
passes.
Yeah.
Right?
He likes to shoot.
Myself. Mike Best. He improved 6'10", 6'11". He played at Irvine.
Okay.
And then my last one, I'd say Brian Crow.
Okay. The one who went to Oregon.
Yeah, Brian Crow. Jordan Lewis, Brian Crow, Christian Manoli, Kenny Woodard, and Mike Best.
Yeah, so I'm assuming we're playing a pickup game.
He's not going to say my name, and it's fine, Jordan.
No, I'm
Don't
assuming we're
fraud
playing a pickup
me.
game here in Marin.
Yes.
So I'm going to choose all my Marin people.
Home cooking.
gonna
So
say me now.
I'm going to choose Jesse Bean.
Oh, yeah.
Who
We
was
play
just-
against him in the adult league.
Yeah, so you know.
Play with them too. Okay.
Yeah, he's a really good player.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. He was my point guard in high school. So I choose him. Let me see. Well, obviously have me. Choose Kenny. He's our wild card.
Kenny was going to be so pissed.
And let's see. I'm gonna go with my all Terra Linda guys. I'll go with Christian because he's been hooping and he's been a new teammate of mine when we're playing this 3-on-3 stuff.
Nice.
Let's go with Brandon Miller for the rebounds, so I don't have to do all that work. And that is 5. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Last question. Who wins one-on-one between you two?
Now listen, me, Jordan, and Stevie Johnson did some one-on-one rounds.
Yeah.
I got me a couple wins.
When was this?
The Bay Club.
Is that when Stevie
What,
hurt himself?
like 3 years ago?
Yeah.
4 years ago?
Was Jordan there? Was he zooming in?
If he gets the ball, I feel like, if he just goes straight to the post.
There's a little bit of a size.
There's a little bit of a size difference.
Yeah.
Did you poke the
Like
ball
I said,
away
you just
from
got to
him?
hold the ball above your
Just hold the ball.
head.
It
It's over,
Jumps
man.
up at him.
I'm going to bet on myself. Jordan bet on himself.
All right.
Yeah, that's a fair
Dove,
statement.
do you want to ask your shoe question?
What was my shoe cut? Favorite color on a shoe? Favorite color? If you could pick one other than white, if you're putting white and one other color, what color are you putting on the shoe?
On a basketball shoe.
On a basketball shoe. Not a slipper. Not a.
My favorite color is red, so...
Yeah, I think the best colorway is always the white, black, and red. It's just classic, It's
the
the Bulls
Jordan.
colors, Michael Jordan. Like it goes with anything.
Awesome. Well, guys, this has been so fun. Thank you for the perspective and you guys are amazing players. You're amazing coaches. You're amazing people. Congratulations on 24-8. Continued success.
Thank you, Dave.
And
Holden loves it. Holden loves
totally,
it.
Duffy's son Holden. It's a great program. And kids, go call these guys and go train with them. They're the best.
Come get this work.
Yeah.
No throwing up.
Let's go to work.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Really
Thanks for having
appreciate
us.
it. Yep. Okay.
looks up and gives me a grin and says, "Hey dude, you too must be from Marin."